it got to a point, but like that it doesn't have some subscription for some certain level of the training. And it got to a point, I wasn't in the live class, but like that it doesn't have some subscription for some certain level of the training. And it got to a point, I wasn't in the live class, but like that it doesn't have some subscription for some certain level of the training. Hello, please.
Okay, sorry. I think things were getting really messy. So what did you say, sir?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was talking about last Saturday training. So the instructor was trying to show us some certain things. Though I wasn't at the live class, I was, playing it back. So when I discovered that it doesn't have prescription for some of the things he wanted to show us, I was like, he would go to a point, he would say because it doesn't have prescription, we got to some point, we just
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Active Directory is the truth is that those things require licenses, organization license. Okay. And a number of them are not very cheap, to be quite honest. So there are things that it's basically organizations that go for them when they have a need for them. Take, for instance, you're joining a company, and then they have to set up an email account for you. That email they set up for you is actually one license. They're actually purchasing for you. So that was why he had those limitations on his end, and I wasn't able to do them. But if it's something you've really, it's why I decided to add that one. I normally add that Active Directory is just in case, just so you have an idea on what directory means, and subscription, what subscription also means, and how to basically set up a user. How to set up a user on the cloud. I'm not sure if we tried doing that on our end. Did we try doing that?
Yes, I tried setting up some users,
Yeah, it won't allow you because at a point you can't do further. Yeah, when you want to assign the roles.
Yes. So did you try it using your own directory? Because remember, all of you have your own directories where you created yourself. So that on that one, you'll be the global admin. So if you try doing it on Coils Academy directory, right, you will not be able to do that. Can somebody share his screen? Maybe share your screen so I show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I use my personal email. And
No, it's not about your personal email. It's about if you use your own personal Azure directory, not Coils web directory.
Yeah, I moved from Coil to my own directory.
And you were not able to create users.
I never said I created users. I created, but not only since anyway.
Okay, no, but somebody was saying he was not able to create a user. That's where I was.
I think it's Harry that said that.
Okay, that's what I'm actually addressing. That you won't be able to create a user on another direct except you are the administrator on that one. All right, that's essentially what we want to say and show to you, that it's possible to create users on a directory, and then those users are part of your domain, and then you can manage them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So so today we are going to do what we call version control. But before I get into that, I just want to quickly share something.
You say what control?
Version control. All right. So let's see. Just give me a moment to show something. Okay, nice. Yeah, so I'll hand over the control to you, please.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I remember back then in the university, when I entered the university, I was like, after the first 1-2 weeks, I think the first semester I was getting angry and upset, and I was like, I thought by now they'll be teaching me what to make me an engineer. Why are they teaching me things I learned in secondary school? Okay. So if you take a look at this, this is actually what we are following, right? I think I shared it at the beginning when we started. So basically we've traveled. I just want to help you see how far we've gone. We've been able to cover cloud computing, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. We've done those stuff, and then we moved to monitoring, right? And then we did introduction to automation last week, but we added Active Directory as part of it, just to show us a few things. So today we are going into version control and repositories, right? So after that, we'll get into infrastructure as code. We'll use ARM because we're using Azure, but I'm going to touch a little bit on Terraform, and then we go into pipelines by next week, and then we start. We begin to tie them up by doing a couple of projects. So things are really going to be fun when we get into the stuff that we're going to be doing going forward. All right. So I'm going to basically today talk to us a little bit about the history of what version control is. Please, you can actually record again. Thank you, sir. All right, so I have...
Okay, a moment.
All right. So I have my uh, Visual Studio Code, that's VS Code open. So I believe we've all installed VS Code, right? So if you yet to install it, please just go ahead and install it because things are really going to get very interesting in the next couple of weeks going forward. Okay, I'm struggling to share one of my directories. All right. So all right. So I have so um back in the days if you um version control, what is version control? From the name, it's actually it's okay. Let me go back and say a few things and then talk about it. How many of you look at softwares, you see softwares name or version 2 point this, version this. How many of you see that stuff when maybe when you want to download or you want to upgrade to something? Do you notice those versions?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we get to those things? How do we arrive at that? How do we manage that? That's what we're talking about. Do you get it? So I just want you to cast your mind to what we want to talk about. Let me try and look for an open source project. AWS has quite a number of them. Let me see. AWS code pilots. Okay, CDK. Install control issues. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Okay. I just want to quickly show us this now, for instance. So this is AWS. This is one listing, CDK. It's actually a resource that is used in AWS. These are current open issues. But let's look at the code that, the code that actually runs those things. Okay. Now, if you look at the side, you see releases. Now you see the current version. You see this is the latest version. They actually released a most recent version. If you go down, you see all the releases they have actually, released. Now I know whenever a new release is coming out, they do tell you details of the release, but most of the times, a lot of us don't read it, including me. But I've learned how to review them. Let me show you something. EKS version upgrade. Let me show. This is AWS. You also have on Azure, but I just want to quickly use this one to show something. Yeah. Okay. There's what we call release notes. Now, so these are release notes. So currently you have AWS Kubernetes EKS 1.28. Now, this is the release note. So if you want to upgrade to this one, for instance, these are the things they expect you to take care of. All right, guys, just give me a minute. I'll be back. I have somebody at the door. All right. Thank you. Okay, so back to business. So whenever a new version of something is released, right? There is they create an update, basically what they have fixed, issues they have solved, right? So you need to know that there's no application or there's no software at the moment that is currently that has gotten to that perfect state. There will be changes because we are in an industry that is ever changing. There's current demand, and a lot of things needs to be updated from time to time. So that's why you hire developers, right? That's why they hire those of us in the industry. So yeah, so this is just this is just one example. This is another one. I'm just showing you how all of that is done. Now, that is number one. Then the second thing is, when you're working alone, right? When you're working alone, you're just the only one maybe working on a project, or working from your house, or you're the only one, maybe it's a startup, you're the only person working. You notice that you're not really sharing code. You're not working with people. So everything is just you, and then you are the alpha and omega. All right. But when you work in an organization, in a setting where either it's possible the code has been existing before they even hired you, number one, or let's assume you guys are starting it together, or you are even the one starting it, but you need other people to be able to work with you, then it creates a number of problems if you're going to start working with people. One of it is that how do you track changes? Let's assume you even make the code available somewhere, right, where everybody can access it. Now, if you put it in that kind of place, how do you track the changes? How do you know who did what? What if somebody, imagine I finished working, spent my whole day, my 8 hours, and even worked extra hours. And after doing all of that, and somebody just goes and then just deletes everything I did. And then there's no evidence. I don't know who did that. I cannot track it and all of that, life would be very, very messy. Okay. So that's why, quite a number of years ago, some persons, a very intelligent group of bunch of guys came up with what they call version control. Right, so it allows you to be able to control either a code base. It can even just be a document, right? So don't just think, okay, this code thing I've been trying to run away from. Can't I just be free for once? Yeah, you're going to be free after we're done with the class. Okay, but for now, just see yourself doing it. Okay. So yeah, back to business. Just a little bit history. I have a project for someone. She was just doing something, on trying to build a salon website, something like that. I have the code. Back in the days, because I was around that era a little bit, before I actually came to know about Git and some of the other version controls we're going to talk about earlier. So here's the thing, and this is why I want to show you. Let's assume let's assume this is our current. I'm going to use a website, for instance. So let's assume this is our current running website that is live. Okay. Now, I'm going to open this on VS Code. Okay. So it's saloon booking system. I'm going to open it on VS Code just so you can see. Why is it not? Okay. Let's, Okay, yeah, so it has opened. So this is the saloon booking system, right? And then if you look at it, you see that it contains just an index page, services page, about us page, right? And then it contains CSS, images, and a little bit JavaScript, all right? So if I go back to that folder, I'm going to open it from here, the file directory, so that, and then turn it to a list. Please, if I'm too fast, let me know, so you understand. So you just see you see the same number of things here. You have the services.html, index.html, about us.html, and then you have those three folders. So if you look at it on the side, you see it's the same thing I have here on VS Code, right? I'm just going to close everything. So if you look at it, ignore this .vs code, right? It's needed because that's the way VS Code will be able to interpret this thing here, that it's code. Okay, then let me just leave it at that. So it's like a binary. So just look at it here that you have the services.html, index.html, about us.html. Now, let's assume this is what we have. This is currently live. Please follow me. Now, this is currently live. I'm trying to cast your mind back to the problem we had before. Now, so this saloon booking system, if this is live, right, that means this code, as long as I'm concerned, it's fine. It's working well. There's nothing wrong with it. But now we need to modify something here, right? What we do back in those days is, I mean, it's only logical, right? You just, select this one and then you duplicate it, right? You just make a copy of it. So you have that saloon booking system, and then you have saloon booking system copy. True or false? I mean, this is what you do, right? So that you can now make your changes on this one. Is it not? Are we here?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, that's what you would do now. I mean, if I'm the one, that's what I would do. I mean, that's what we used to do those days. So I just leave this one here so that I don't go and spoil it. I don't do anything to I don't want to make anything happen. I don't want to hamper it. I don't want anything to go wrong there. So I just make a copy of that, right? And I make these changes here. And if I'm okay and everything is fine and good, oh, fantastic. Then what will happen? I will deploy this one to replace this one, is it not? Now, let's assume after 2 days, again, I need to make another update. What do? I create another copy of this one, right? So this will now be saloon booking system copy. Then if I duplicate it again, it will be copy, or copy 2. Do you understand? Now, let's assume over the weekend, my manager calls me, or my tech leader, we need to modify something, and so, I go back here again now. Do you understand? You notice that just imagine you doing this for one project. Now, imagine you are in an organization, you have like one time I was managing 72 different applications, as a DevOps engineer. So think about it when you now have to manage many things. All right. And then you now have to create all these multiple copies just to modify one thing. What it's going to do to you is that after some time, you even forget which one you were working on. Right? You forget which one was I even working on. I mean, which one did we create last? It just is a whole bunch of things that you're not prepared to deal with. Okay. So that's why they came up with, and then the other complexity it adds to you is that so long as this thing is only on my local machine, any change I make here, nobody in my organization knows about it until I deploy it, which doesn't make sense because we can now block ourselves. Let's assume let's assume we're building a banking app, and you are to design the login page for users, and me, I'm to design, let's assume the side that has to do with account balance and those kind of things, right? I may not be able to test my own functionality with a user if you've not completed yours. So you see, we are blocked. But it's possible that if there's a way both of us can work together at the same time, all right, and we can see our changes, and we're not scared to know if you are going to mess up what I've done and all of that without me knowing, then that would be great if we have a solution that will allow us to meet that. And that's where, we have, and we, the people, intelligent guys, like I call them, came up with something called Git, G-I-T. All right. So that's what Git, and that's where Git, comes into play. So Git is actually a version control tool. Right. So Git is a version control tool. Okay. I've just given us why we're using Git. Over 70% of developers use Git. Git, unfortunately, is not the only version control tool out there. There are other ones that are available. Generally, they are described, they are categorized into two types. One is what we call the central version control tool, and then the second one is what we call the centralized version control tool. So Git is actually a distributed version control tool, meaning that it allows multiple people to use it at the same time. Now, the centralized version control tool, it's only in rare cases you use that one, and that's just one code kept somewhere. Anybody that wants to use it, two of us cannot use it at the same time. If I'm making changes, you need to wait for me to finish my changes before you use it. So we are not going to talk about the centralized ones because it's almost similar to what I just described now. So we are going to be looking at Git today, and it's going to be practical based. All right. Okay. So any questions so far before I move and jump right ahead? Any questions? So do we understand it? Do we understand what Git is now, right?
Distributed version control tool.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is Git. Now, you may have had something GitHub. How many of you have heard of GitHub? I mean, last week I asked us to go create accounts. All right. So if you've heard of Git, you've probably heard of GitHub. Now, is there any difference between the two? The answer is yes. So GitHub and Git they are not the same. In fact, they are words apart. All right. So what is GitHub then? If we've understood what Git is, right? That Git is a distributed version control tool. Now, what is GitHub? Now, GitHub actually makes use GitHub actually makes use of Git. All right. So GitHub is actually a host of source code. All right. It's actually used to host code. So it's basically a repository. Okay. So GitHub is a repository. It's a place where you store codes or store the things that you actually you are controlling their versions, or you're versioning using Git. And I'm going to go back to this thing I showed us earlier. So you see here, so this is open source code. This is owned by AWS. So this is the organization. So when we say something is open source, it means that everybody out there who knows what they are doing can contribute to it, or just take the code and modify it to whatever you want to do with it, right? So that's what it means to be open source. So there's this service in AWS called CDK, all right? It's Cloud Development Kit, and it works with it's an open source project. So this is the code you have for this. So if I, for instance, I try to, I'm not sure. So these are all scripts. So this is one. This is a block of the code, for instance. Now, this code is actually stored here in GitHub. Remember, this is GitHub, right? So AWS decided to store this code here, right? To store this code here. Here on GitHub, right? So GitHub is the host, of source codes, right? There are so many ones you have out there. Like if we check AWS, you can see quite a number. You can see they have 408 repositories, right, stored here. Like Carpenter is used for Kubernetes to handle scaling and all of that. And SageMaker is those things for machine learning and all those kind of processing, image processing and those stuff. So you see it's open source. You can see the code here. So it is a Python code for that. So it's like a warehouse. You know what a hub is, right? So a lot of, and then GitHub is actually the largest this thing. There are so many of them. Like those of you who have created your own is there. So this is mine. I have few repositories, just 3, but I have some internal ones that you can't see them here. And then you can look at sometimes when you apply for jobs, you notice they ask you to send them your GitHub link. The reason is so that they can look at if you're actually a serious person, or not just because I wonder why people do that anyway. So they ask for your GitHub distance so that they can see if you contribute to projects, if you're active. So this thing will just be tracking the things you are doing, your contributions, and then it numbers them and those kind of things. So these are the ones I have out there. So yeah. All right. So what we are going to be doing today, tomorrow, and possibly next week is we're going to see how to create this, all right? How to set them up and how to allow other people contribute to it. Okay, how to make the project public and then make it available. All right, any questions so far? Are we still here?
No questions.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Please, if you're confused about anything, just let me know, and then we'll tidy it up. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I open my now. I know most of us use Windows. So what you need to do is if you go down to the bottom of your screen, right? That's your search bar. So it's 2 ways. You can actually open VS Code like I've done, or you open your command prompts. All right, you can open your command prompt and your command line, or you open PowerShell, depending on whichever one you are confident using. all right? And you just open that and you have something like this. So I can decide to use this, or I can decide to use VS Code. What is most important is that you have installed Git. And the first way to know if Git is running on your machine is to, I'm going to try to do it from my terminal. So you can do that yourself, is to type Git. Is this too tiny, or do we see it? Is it large enough? Hope it's not too small.
No.
All right.
Well, for me.
Okay, so I believe it's not too small. So the first thing I want to do is I do git -- version. All right, just to check if I have it running. And then you can see I have Git running. So if I go back to VS Code, in case you want to use VS Code, so what you do, it may be a little bit different on your own side, but it should be, just try and look up here and then click on terminal, new terminal. Right, it's going to open this control pane for you, where you have output, terminal, pause, Azure, different things. What you also see here might be different from what I'm seeing, but you should see terminal. Okay, so make sure terminal is selected, and then if you do the same thing here, git space -- version, you see that you see the same version. Just to tell you that on my computer, I currently run 2.23. All right, your own version may be different depending on when you install your own, but don't worry. What is most important, that you get a response that looks like this, right? So if you do that, you see I have the same thing here. I have the same thing here. So it tells me that Git is actually running on my machine, right? Okay. So like I said, Git and GitHub are two different things, okay? Git is the version control that you use. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to create a code. We're going to create an application, and then what we'll do is that we will, and then when I mean application, I'm just going to create a simple document. I'm going to create a directory of everybody in this training today, okay? And then I will create and add our names to it, and then I will send it and paste it, or not paste it, I will post it or push it, that's the word, push, to GitHub. All right. Now, when I push it to GitHub, I will share the link to you, and every one of us here should be able to, do something to it, get it on your local machine, add your own name to it, and then push it up again. And then we can see the whole change, how it works. All right. So let's get started. Feel free to stop me wherever you feel, in case you've just feel like you're too fast, you're too fast. All right. So again, what is Git used for? It's used to track changes, the changes that you have made, changes that other people have made, and then it allows you to collaborate. There are a few terminologies that I would explain as we proceed. But I'm going to right away. I'm going to use a command here, but I know there are some of us that don't like commands, but I'm going to use. So I want to be sure. I want to stay in my I like working from my desktop, all right, just so I can see the folder later on. So I'm going.
How do you get that? How do you get that?
You said?
You just click something and give us desktop.
Okay, no. So if you do ls, right, it lists it's a Linux command, Unix based command, list commands. It just lists all it's so within your current directory. So if you okay, I'm going to clear my screen. So if you're using Windows, it's going to be a different command. It's going to be dir. All right. So if you type dir, it will list out all the folders in your current location. But if I want to find out where I am, I do pwd. It tells me that you are currently, this is present working directory. That's the command. So it tells me that I'm inside users / my name, right? So that's the directory. I want to be in / desktop, all right? So technically, I want to be inside here. That's what I'm saying. I want to create the folder inside here. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. So I want it to be inside here. Okay, so it's two ways. I can just come there and create a new folder. All right, I can come there and create a new folder, or I just go ahead and do that from here. Okay, so what I want to do now is because I'm in this location, I want to go into my desktop location. Please, can you go on mute if you're not asking questions?
Sorry, Mr. Chris, is this Git the same thing with Git bash?
So Git bash is you just want to bash with Git. So
it's not, they're not the same application.
It's
because I think I downloaded the Git bash.
You did not download Git bash, you downloaded Git. Git comes with Git bash.
Oh, okay.
Just follow what I'm doing. Don't worry about Git bash. It's used for some other things, okay? But Git comes with it. Git is something that is how do I call it? It's big, so it comes with some of those stuff, right? So, but you have the right thing. Just do Git -- version. That's those things. But for now, just follow me, okay? Just follow me and let's see how far we are able to go. All right. Okay, thank you. So I want to be in that. So to do that, I'll just do CD and then I go to that location, desktop, and then I have moved into my desktop location. So if I do pwd again, you see that I'm inside users this desktop. Now you don't need to do stay in the same location like I do. You may want to stay in documents, but stay wherever works for you, right? Just so you can have a picture of what you're doing. That's essentially what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to create a directory. And so that directory, there's a command to create a directory, which is mkdir. So make directory. It's just the short form of it, mkdir. So make directory. Then I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say version control. So this is the directory I'm creating, right? Version control. Now, if I come here, so this is my desktop location. There's currently no folder that bears that name, version what? What did I want to name it now?
Version control.
Yeah, so there's currently, I'm just showing you. So this is, you see, this is my desktop, right? So there's currently nothing called version control, right? So I'm going to do that now, and then you see it. So if I do mkdir version control, it will create that folder for me. And if I go back here, you should see that version control. You see the time, right? Today, corresponding to this. So just to tell you that you can, so what I'm saying is essentially you can just create the folder here, just from your machine, and then just do, right click, make new folder, then it makes new folder for you, or you do that from command line, that's fine. All right. So it has, opened that, created that folder for me. So if I do an LS, I can see the same thing here. I can actually, just the same way I was listing that, I can see it here, version control. All right. So I'm good with that. So what I want to do now is I want to open that folder in VS Code. Okay. I want to open, so I can click open folder. Yeah. All right. And then inside my desktop, I'll look for that folder, and I want to filter this thing well so that it's, so within my folder, my screen is looking messy, I know. I click version control and then I click open. So you see it opens that folder for me, right? So you see that folder. If I go back to my machine and open it, you see there's nothing here, right? There's currently nothing here. So just so that you follow it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create, you see this logo here. If you look at my screen, so what I'm doing, I'm also teaching you VS Code and this thing at the same time. So but it's fine. If you stay on this level, version control, that's where you want to stay, please. So this is where the folder is, right? So this is the folder, version control. Now, this thing here means file. You see new file, right? The next one is new folder. If you go up here under file, you can still see the same thing, new file. All right, so I'm going to use this one, but feel free to use whichever one you want to use. So I'm going to click this and say new file. Now, I need to give that file a name. So I'm just going to name it something very, very simple. I'm going to call it attendance list. Okay, attendance -list, just so that I can I don't want to use one word. So attendance -list. Now I want to make it a txt. .txt is a text file, right? So I'm just going to say .txt. Okay. And then so the thing expects to get a list from me. All right. So the first thing, attendance, I'm just going to copy the attendance the way it's appearing on my screen, just for the sake of learning and training. So the first name I have here, I'm just going to create something like a table. I'm going to say serial number, SN, and then I'll give space, and then I put name, right? And then the first thing, first serial number I'm putting is number 1, and then I'll just use 1 hyphen. The first name I have here is Charles. Charles is the first name appearing on my screen. I'll put number 2. This is next name, the woman of God. And then I'll put number 3, Chinedu, right? Number 4, Chizzy. And number 5, I'll end here for now. All right, it's Ebenezer. Okay, so now let's assume we're creating this list. Okay, now we want this list to be available to everybody in the company, and then we also want to push that list, we want to push that list to GitHub. So if we are able to push it to GitHub, everybody will be able to see that list and be able to add more names to that list. All right. Now think of it. Oh, all right, ma. No shaking. We'll take it later. Okay. All right. So think about it as though this were a code, or this was a code, because after now I'm going to create another one which is code, and we are going to commit to that one. But I'm starting with something very, very simple so that we can try and follow. Now, the first thing you want to do is that if you look at this side, all right, so I'm just going to save this thing. I click file and then just click save. All right, it's saved. Just to show you this thing on my local machine, you see it has appeared here. You see that it was modified this date, and then it's open here. Right, so you see it's a plain text basically, and then I can open it and it will open on it has opened with something like this. Okay, but this is what we want to do. So now, how do we track changes? Remember, now I can delete this thing. I can make a mistake or something like that, or even delete this thing. Nobody knows what happened. So I want to keep track of the changes that is happening on this. I want more persons to contribute, and I want to know who typed what. I want to know the time the person typed whatever he typed and all of that. So that's what we're going to do right away. So the first thing is this. Whenever you create a project, if that is the first time you're creating it, so I'm going to go back to my terminal. So I go up here, that's within this page. Now I can go up here, click on terminal, and then open a new terminal so that terminal is showing on my screen. Now, if you do that, one of the things that is going to happen is that it will put you in the right working directory. So you see that I'm in a location called version control. If I want to check that, I can do pwd, and then you see that I am inside users, my name, desktop, version control, just to tell you that attendance list.txt is inside version control. So I'm in the right place. And then if I do an ls, you'll see that I can see the name of that file there, attendance list.txt. All right, just to be sure that, because you need to make sure you are inside the folder to do the next things I want to do now. All right, very important. Okay, so I'm going to clear screen, and then I'm going to do the following command. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll do this command, git space config, right? And then I'll do -- global. Now I want to set some global variables for this. So I do git config global user.name, right? And then here you enter in your name. So I'm going to say Chris, all right? And then my surname. And then once I'm done, I click on enter, all right? So Git is saying, okay. Actually, before this, I made a mistake. The first thing you need to do, I'm going to clear that. The first thing you need to do is do git init. Now, if you do git init, this is the first thing I'm supposed to do before that command. So please ignore what I just did earlier. If you do git init, you're trying to say, I want to initialize version control. That's how it starts working, right? So what will happen? So I'm going to do git init. I've not clicked on enter yet. Watch the screen and see what is going to happen here. The moment I click enter, who noticed what happened here?
The color changes.
The write-up changes.
Exactly. So are you seeing it? the color changed. So many other things happened on my screen. One of it is that this thing came here automatically. You can see version control, Git, master, and all of that. But we're going to get into that. And then you see after the command, it said initialize empty Git repository in this particular location. Right? So very, very important. Now, you see this U appeared here. This U means that, okay, I am here now. It's just like Git, you know. Somebody asked about Git bash earlier. So yeah, Git is saying, I'm here now. Hey, I see, I'm here, I'm welcome. But it's now saying, I'm not tracking anything here. So that's why you can see U. It's telling you that I'm seeing a file here, but I'm not tracking it. All right. So before it will start tracking it, I'm going to do that command I ran earlier before, which is git config -- global user.name. And then I put my name or whatever name you want to be known by within that project or that repository. And then once you do that, you click and enter. All right. So then the next thing you do is you do git config, right? And then -- global, all right? My spelling is poor this night. User.email, all right? So space, then you enter your email address. So I'm going to enter my email address. So please at Coils web.com. All right. So this is my email address. So this is the two commands, or these are the two commands or three commands you need to run. So git init, git config global username, and then so I'm going to copy that for you now and then paste it just there. So these are the three commands. I'll put it in the chat. So yeah. So that's the first command, git init, git config, global username. All right. So don't type my name, or let me put enter your name here. Hope you will not forget. All right. All right. So once you do that, so you run those commands one after the other, the first one, and then you are okay. I just did history so that it will bring up all the commands. All right. So now I have initialized this thing. So the next command you want to run are the very, very important, that the things you now want to start doing to track the files and add changes and all those kind of things. All right. So what I'm going to do now, there's a very, 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 very important command that it's good to run it every time. It just helps you to know what is going on. It's called git status, right? So this git status shows you what is happening at any time. Now, it's telling me that on branch master, there are no commits yet. Now, it's saying on track files. And then you can see, and this is why Git is so beautiful, because you don't need to cram those things. The only command you need to know is those first three commands. Again, I'm oversimplifying it. But that's like the only command you need to have offhand. You also don't really need to have it offhand because you can get it online. And again, you only run it when you're starting the work. Okay, so if you're not the one starting the work, you don't really need to run that. Okay. So anytime you do Git status, it gives you an idea what next to do. That's essentially what I'm saying. So you will not be lost at any time. So I did Git status. It's telling me that, hey, you have untracked files. All right. You say if you want to start tracking them, are you seeing that's what it's telling me? He said use git add to track. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, thank you, Git, for telling me that. I'm going to say git what add, and then I'll enter the name of the file. I will just copy it because it's too long, and then put it here. Now, what is going to happen here? This U will change. So once I click enter, are you seeing it has changed to A? You see, it's saying it's added, right? It's added. So that's it. So it has changed to git. I use git add attendance list. So it added that file. So what it means is now that file is now among the things that it will start tracking. Now, if I do git status again, you're going to notice a change. You see, this thing is no longer red, right? You see, before it was telling me it's on track, right? But now you see it's here. All right. So, but again, it's telling me on branch master, no commits yet. Why is there no commit? Even though you've added this file. Yeah. So the thing is that I have added the files, but I have not committed them. Now, to commit, what does it mean to commit the file? So to commit is saying that, okay, I'm tracking these things, but now I think I'm okay with these changes. That's what commit is. So if I'm okay with my changes, all right, then the next thing I want to do is to commit them. Right. So let's assume I'm okay. I've checked everything. These are the names I have for now. Right. Let me commit them. So I will do what we call git commit. All right. And then because Git allows you to work, you're collaborating with people, right? So whenever you are committing something, you need to tell people, or so that also tell yourself, or put it as a way to remind yourself what you have done. Imagine you working on a project. I mean, this is something that is being recorded. I would have shown us some projects I have here that are in, hundreds of thousands of lines of code. So if I'm not giving my commit messages, sometimes I won't even remember what change I made, what line changed and when I did that. So it's good you give a commit message. So to add the message, you add a flag called -m, right? Or -- message, right? So I'll just use $1-m, and then I'll put space, and then I'll put a bracket, and then just put the message. I'll say added my first list, right? And then I'll close it in brackets, in double quotes. And then you notice that thing has disappeared here. It tells me one file change, cease what? Insertions. And then it has tracked that. So it's tracking it. Anything that happens on that file now, it will tell me something has changed. Somebody has changed it. So if we do git status again, you see that it's telling me on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean. So fine, perfect. This is actually where I want to get to. I don't have any U or A here. I don't have any issues here. There's no issues happening here. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to be able to expose this thing to my team members. I want everybody to see this list, and I want people to be able to either contribute to it or, make something to it. So I would now, from here, I will go to GitHub. All right, I'll go to GitHub. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, you see new here. So I'm going to create a new repository. right? So the first thing I'm doing, I need to do, I give it a name. So I'll say version control. That's what I want to call it, right? It's telling me the name is available. Okay. Okay, let me not name it version control, just so I can explain something. Let me change the name to class list, right? It says available. If you want a description, you can put a description for it. Now, you can make it private or you can make it public. Now, if you make it public, anyone on the internet can see this repository. Now, when your organization is working with GitHub, they will not want to make their code public, right? If not, I mean, the whole world can go and see, except it's an open source project. Now, if it's open source, it means that everybody, they can share the code with people. Otherwise, they make it private. And if you make your code private, it means it's only available to you and those you share it to. So for now, I'll make mine public, and then so it's asking me, it's giving me these options, initialize this repository with, a README file. For now, I don't want it. So I'm just going to leave everything the way it is, and then just do create repository. Okay. Now, don't jump away from this page, because this page is very, very important. You need it. Now, it gives me two options. The first option is, it's saying, if you have not created the new repository, you need to do these things with it. So do git init, right? You notice that we have done git init before, right? So this is not for me. I just know that actually this is not for me because I've already initialized Git. So essentially what this means is that before you even start your project online, I mean locally, you can create the repository first here and take it down. But that's not what we want, what the approach we took. The approach we took is number 2. Now the number 2 is saying, or push an existing repository from the command line. Yeah, this is it. Fantastic. This is what we did. So we already did this one, because if you notice from here to here, it's the same thing. I mean, it's different. From here down is where you have something that looks a bit similar. Like you can see this one, git remote, add this, and then git branch this, and then that. So this is what I'm going to do. So I can click here to copy the 3 of them, or copy them one after the other. So I'm going to copy them one after the other, and then take back to my local machine. I will clear up here so it's clean. And then I'll paste that first one I copied. Now, I'm going to show you what will happen. So if I click enter, what happened is that it has created this thing online in GitHub. It has initialized this thing, but I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do git branch main. I actually don't need this, to be honest, but because I already have a master branch, so I'm going to paste that in. I'll do git branch -m main, but I'll change it to, okay, leave it as main, and then run it. So it has changed that thing from master to main, right? And then I'll run the last one here. So git push. Now, I'm going to explain these 3 commands shortly. So once I do that git push, right, what will happen is that it will push those 3 that everything I have here, all the changes I've made, and then it will push them to GitHub. Now look at this. If you follow the details here, you'll see it here. It's telling you that it's compressed everything, and then it's pushed those things, or it wrote them. So writing objects, blah, 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 3, changes, and then branch main sets up to track remote branch. So remote branch is the one on GitHub. Now let's go back to GitHub. I'm just going to refresh my screen, and then you'll see my attendance list. right? So if I click on open, you see all those names I have here, right? You see, you notice that if I go back, you notice that it told me that you committed these changes 6 minutes ago, right? So you see here, you see it was 6 minutes ago. I didn't even remember, but you see, Git is able to track those changes for me. It knows when I make those changes. It tracks them and all of that for me. Now, so you see that my list, I currently have one branch, and then this was the 6 minutes ago, one commit and all of that. Now I'm going to do something here. So this is what we call your remote, and then this is your local. All right. So the local is what you currently have. Then the remote is what is available on GitHub. Now, if I give every one of us here this link, you'll be able to do what we call clone. You'll be able to clone this repository and make use of it. And we're going to get into that just in the next few minutes, right? So that you will see the same list on your end. So now you notice that I said you have the local one. So this is the local one on my own machine. That's why it's local, right? And then you also have the remote one. So this is the remote, the one that is, that is living within GitHub. Now, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to remove number 5. I'm going to remove Ebenezer. To do that, now it's not advisable. Never edit this thing remotely. It's not advised. The idea is that everybody should have this thing. Remember, this is your organization code that people are already using. So if you want to make a change, make it locally and then push your changes up. So here's the thing I'm going to do. I'm going to remove number 5. I'm going to remove number 5. And then what happened is I'm going to now save it. So I can do Control S on my machine, or I just do save. Now, if I save this, you see it has come up here and immediately, you see Git has told me, can you see the M? Modified. And then if you look on the screen there, it say you 1 second ago, uncommitted changes. All right. So you see Git is now, so this is the work, it's tracking it. It knows that even though it's my local machine, but it's telling me you have something that is not correct. So let's assume you were sleeping on your machine, you walked, you were so tired, and your hand just pressed something, and maybe delete, and you deleted one line of code. You see, Git will be able to tell you that. All right. You see, it tracks the time, everything about it. But let's assume I'm fine with this change. What I can do, I do Git status. It will tell me, okay, you have modified this thing. Now, but you see, it's now telling me that my branch is no longer the same thing with what we have here. All right. It's telling me that, well, if you are okay with that, just know that the remote is not the same thing with what you currently have. And I'm saying, like, yes, okay, let's assume that list is the list of people in my team. So let's assume Ebenezer has left my team. All right. So I need to update this list. So what I need to do now, I'll run those same commands before I ran. So I do git add, right? And then put that name here, attendance list, right? And then once I do that, so you see it's okay with that. It's saying, okay, fine, you've added it. So the next thing you need to do if you're okay with the change is to do commit. So I do git commit. You see, Git is already suggesting those things for me. So I do git commit -m and then enter the message. I can say removed the name of or I would just say removed a user who resigned. right? Just something to help people or to help you know, keep track of it. And then I do that. It's telling me, okay, remove a user who resigned, right? So it's telling me, okay, fine. Now, if I'm okay with that, you see, I've done git add. I did git add that command, and then I did git commit -m. I put in my message, M is message. And then once I'm done, it's saying Wi-Fi, one file, what changed? One insertion, two deletions, right? So those are the things Git did for me. Now, what will happen is that if I now want to, let's assume this is a code now, we want to go live. Okay, we have everything we need to now. So, okay, let's remove this guy so that we'll have the updated list that will be live. All right. So what I will do, so you see, so the last commit was 12 minutes ago. But you see, I already made a commit here. Why is it not seeing it? It's not seeing it because I have not pushed up my change, right? I have not pushed up my change. Okay, so if that is it, what do? I just do git push. All right. So once I do git push, immediately, if I go back, you see it's done. It has pushed it. It's a resolving delta has completed with one local object, and then it pushed that thing. Now let's go back here. And then if I refresh this guy, you see that removed a user who resigned, right? And then it's telling me that in the history of this, our project, let's assume it's a project, we currently have how many commits? Only 2 commits. I can look at those 2 commits and see what happened. Now, this is the first one. The first commit, I can look at it. This was when all the names were complete, is it not? I had up to Ebenezer. Now, if I go back and check that second commit and say, you see, it marked Ebenezer as, you see, it now put minus beside his name, and it's marking it on red, and then it's telling me this. So if I look at that code properly again, if I look at the attendance list, you see that currently attendance list is 4. And then 2 minutes ago is where I have that change. So this is Git and GitHub. So GitHub is where we are putting the code, where it's available to everybody. And then Git is the versioning that is keeping track of the changes that I am making to that code. Any questions so far?
Think you have to take it one more.
That's not a question. But we'll go over it again. Like I said, this is what we are going to be doing from now till the end of the class. Because everything we are going to be doing now, we are going to be working together, so we'll be keeping track of it. All right. So the only thing is the commands. I know that that's what we are all looking at now, right? But you get used to them the more you do them, you get used to them. All right, but any questions so far? Does it make sense? Is it too difficult? Or what do you think? That's what I want to get now.
I don't think it's difficult. I believe with time, when we start to do it over and over again, it will stick in our brain. So
okay. All right, that's your own.
But I don't have Git yet.
Why don't you have Git? Oh, yeah, okay, download it then.
Yeah.
Download Git download. I think I shared the link some time ago. So just follow this link here to download Git. You'll be fine. So click on the machine. So if you are using Windows, click on Windows, then you just follow the prompts there, all right? And then download it.
So, Mr. Grace, but we can still use VS Code on it, right?
How do you mean?
Like the command you are using right now, I think it's VS Code.
Your question is not questioning. Your question is
What
not.
I'm saying, what
Yes,
I'm saying,
yes,
you mentioned VS Code as a command. There is VS Code. There is
VS Code is not a
uh,
command, sir. VS Code is a tool, is a software, right? So this is VS Code. I'm running Git.
on the VS Code. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not VS Code is
Okay.
not a
All right.
command, it's a tool. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like say Microsoft Word. So you're not running Microsoft Word. You're running something on it. It's so
Okay.
all right.
Oh.
So the next thing I'm going to do now, just to go over it again, but this time around, but I've done the demo, so I'm going to add a new file inside here. Okay. So that file now, let's add a new file called what do we call it? Okay, let's do something nice now and fancy. Let's add code inside of it. Let's add a Microsoft, a web page. So let's do index.html, right? HTML. So this is an HTML file. Don't be scared. You don't. So I'm just going to write a simple HTML file, HTML, right? And then I'm just going to put head, and then give it a body, and then that will be it. Yeah. So HTML, head, body. In the head, I'm just going to give it a title. Right. And then the title, I'm going to call it August cohort. Right. And then in the body, I'll just say, let's add a H1. And then let's do hello team. And then just add one paragraph, that's it. And then let's say, I am. So this is my first time using Git, right? And then, okay, so you see we've added our file, right? So let's assume we have this file, that's something very simple, basic. You see it's showing here as you, right? If I do an ls, you see that it's seeing this file, but Git is not yet seeing it. Git is saying it's on track, right? It's on track. Now, this time around, I'm not going to use command line for anything again I have done, okay? Just for some of you who are saying, So if you look at your screen here, if you have VS Code installed, you will see something like this that is saying source control, right?
Yes.
If you click, I'm going to click on it, and then you see it's telling me what? Source control, blah, blah, blah. Now, the next thing it's telling me is that, okay, please, You remember, I've saved this thing. That's why it's telling me it's on track. So the next thing is asking for what is message. So I can just enter the message. You see that git commit -m and end message I was entering is the same thing here. So if I just type message added a web page, right? I click on commit, it will do the same thing for me, right? It has added it. And then if I do git status, you will see what I'm saying. You see that it has added it. And then it's telling me that your branch is ahead of origin main. It means that my current branch, my local, all right, my local branch. Now this thing is what it calls branches. So Git works with branches, right? Branches is just it's a pointer. There's what we call pointers. It's a pointer to your current, to what you have currently. So my branch is called main. Now, my main branch is telling me that my local is ahead of it. So what I'm going to do, normally, if I'm doing it from command line, the next thing I will do, who can tell me the next command I need to run? I'll give you something.
Git push.
Thank you. This is what I wanted to give you. All right. So if I'm doing it from command line, I'll do git push. All right. But if I'm doing it from here, I'll just click on sync changes. Okay. I just do that. It's telling me this action we do what? We pull and push commits. And then I say, okay, yeah. Then it does that. Yeah. So somebody is now saying, so why were you stressing us by doing git this, git this? All right. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that whichever one is fine, and then we go back here, refresh it, and you can see it. Our changes was 1 minute ago, added a web page. You see it, you see this, that same thing I added here is showing now. Right? So whichever one is fine for you, you can.
Okay, Chris, sorry.
Yeah.
This last one you did is on VS Code.
Even the first one I did was VS Code.
So what's the difference?
The difference is I was not using command line. This time around, I used the UI, the GUI, the user interface. So the point is that you can use either command line or you can use the interface from VS Code. Did I confuse somebody?
Most likely.
It's
No,
clear,
we get it.
however.
It's clear, we get it.
The command line you are using, is it the PowerShell?
No.
Which one
Chris, I think what is going on is that when we open the visual code on our system, the welcome page looks different from what we are seeing on your computer.
Yeah.
So pretty much we're following you, but we're not, like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching what you're doing because I can't find some of the things you're clicking on my computer.
Yeah, so that's the idea. The idea is not for you to walk now. The idea is just to watch and just understand it, right? And then after now, I'll allow us to, like the next few minutes, I'll turn it over to us to start working. So I'm not expecting you to follow me as I'm doing this. You create more problem for yourself. I just want you guys to watch what I'm doing and see if it's something okay, I get it. And then when it's time, you can now practice.
Yeah.
Not to follow along.
We are following you. I think the challenge was just, like I said, what we are looking at on your computer is different from what we are seeing on our computer on the visual code.
Yeah. So like I said, it's not because we're using two different operating systems, right? It's going to be different, but the idea is the same. It's the same thing. So like I said, go to terminal, it will be somewhere here. you must definitely see it. So you see that it's up here or it's up here, for instance, right? So, but just get what I'm doing first will be good. So what I did, the difference between what I did the first time and what I did now was that the first one, we were just working with this list, right? And then I created this list. I did all the git this, git this, git this, git this, and that using this command line, and then it worked. Now, this time around, I added a new file, right? I also did the same thing, but instead of using the git command, I'm showing you guys that you can also do the same thing, but not run commands, just by clicking on this guy here, and then you just enter your commit message and then push it up by clicking this.
Very clear.
Right.
So this source control is from the VS Code, right?
Yes. So if your VS Code is open on your system, you also see something like this. That's why I showed you guys.
Okay.
VS Code, you have this, you have this. Once you have it, you click on it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to the attendance list. I'm going to add another name, the name number 5 this time around. I'm going to add, I'm going to add Henry, right? So let's see, I add Henry, okay? Now, I save this state. Now it's telling me, so when I say I save, I just did this thing, Control S, and then it's saved. Now, it's saying I have, so are you seeing this thing? It's telling me uncommitted changes, right? Now, and then it's telling me M, it's giving me M, which is modified. Now, if I do git status, I can see it here. Now, what I was trying to explain to you guys is you can decide not to run commands. You can do everything from here. So if you notice this guy here is telling me, if I hover over this source control, it's telling me that what? I have 1 pending changes. Can you see that? And then when I click on it, it brings out the version control, that is, it brings out what I'm working on. And then it tells me there is change on this file. Are you seeing changes? It's showing me this file. And then it's asking me to enter, if you read what it have here, enter to commit what? On main. So what I would have done is, remember, is to do git add first, and then do git what? Do git commit. Is it not?
Yes.
-m. Instead of that, that's what I'm telling you, the GUI user interface doesn't need all of that. It just asks you to enter the message. So the message I'll add here is updated user list, attendance list, for instance. I'm going to say updated attendance list. And then I click on this, right? I click on this. Or if I click on this place, I'm saying commit and do what? Push. So if I do commit and push, it does them once, all right, for me. So it's more like doing git commit and then git push. This guy here can help me work faster, and then I just do git commit and push. But for now, let me just do only commit, all right? So you see, it has committed it, but it has not pushed it, right? Because if I go back here, there's no list. If I refresh, you see, the remote branch does not, the last change I entered was 19 minutes ago on this guy. Is it not? But we have updated this guy 1 second ago, right? So we need to now push that changes. How do I can also validate that by doing git status, right? You see, is saying your branch is ahead of the origin branch by 1 commit. So it's telling me to use git push, right, to publish my local commits. Now, I don't want to, I can do git push, but I'm not a command line freak. So I'm just going to use my GUI and then click this. So it brings out this instruction, this warning, this action will push, pull and push commits from and to origin. And then I click OK. And then it pushes that change for me. Then when I refresh this, you see that it has added Henry. And then you see the change 1 minute ago. So what I'm saying is, I'm showing you both of them, that whichever one you're comfortable with, use, right? So I'm going to add another list to this. I'm going to say number 6, and then let me get one more name, Correlate. I'm going to add you, yeah. And then this time around, I'll just do git add, right? Or first of all, I need to save that first. So it comes to modify. I do git status. You're going to do git status a lot, just to see what is happening. It's telling me we'll modify this. Yeah, I want to add that because, so I do git add what? I paste that name, right? And then it's fine. And then the next thing I do is what? Git what? Commit. Is it not? And then I do -m, right? M, I can say added or say updated with Corrode. And then that is that. So it's telling me it's fine. If I do git status now, see your branch is ahead. The reason it's saying it's ahead is because I now have more names than what I have in my general branch. I mean, on GitHub. So it means that I'm a bit advanced. So what I now do from here is I do git what? Push. Then what happens? It runs that command, and then if I refresh that, you see it has added it. Is it clear? Are we okay with it now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So you see, so far we have 5 commits, right? So far we have 5 commits. The first one was done. Are you seeing it's keeping track? The first time I changed this thing was 33 minutes ago. And then you see it's using that my name, right? It's using this, it's using this, using this. All right. So I'm going to ask everybody now to, first of all, on your own end, try to create just a simple text file, right, on your end, and then do git init. So that command I pushed there, not something so fancy. Do git init, do git config global username, you enter your name, pass global user email, enter that, and then do git commit. All right, do git commit, do git do git add, do git commit, and do git push. Just do all of that to your local repository, and then push to your GitHub account. Let's do that in the next 10-15 minutes, and then we'll take it from there.
Please, don't be afraid. Can you repeat that again, please? Can you come again?
What I just said is do what I've done now on your own end. So I already posted a command on the chat there. So just you can create a simple file. It can be a Microsoft document, maybe a doc, something .doc. Just create anything, like you can do a .txt, all right? It mustn't be the same, but just create something, and then you mustn't be added. You can just write something, basically, but just something that you can keep track to practice what we've done.
If I have a question, you said we should not worry about the Visual Studio Code. I downloaded Visual Studio Code, and I don't have Git on it. I install it on my window, but it's not popping up on the Visual Studio.
If you install Git on your machine, there's no way to not be on your Visual Studio. If you have Git on your computer, there's no way it will not.
Saying I downloaded it and I installed it, but if I click it, then download Git for Windows.
Can you share your screen? Let's see.
I think I find it. It's
Sorry?
now, I think it's working now. The television.
All right.
This is where I am. Kind of confused. I don't know how to navigate it.
So the first thing you want to do is start a folder where you want to start working from. So it's either you're creating a new folder or you already have an existing folder you want to open. That's where you start from. Not file, folder. Folder contains a file. That's what you were clicking on that the other side before. So you need to create the folder exactly.
So I've created it.
You need to open the folder and then click open folder. Not file, open folder. When you click file, it takes you want to initialize Git on a folder, not a file. So you see on your left-hand side there, you can see that you have the name of that thing here, a do test up there.
Yeah.
You can see that's where you have this thing. So the next thing you now want to do is to create a file inside it. Just create a file, then you initialize Git.
What file?
But that's what I told you now. Anything at all. The idea is just do what I have done. Just create something to track it. Have you followed the class so far?
I'm completely lost with the routines. But maybe at the end of the road I'll catch it, but maybe catch.
What have you understood from the class so far?
Yeah, I understood. I'm making the file and somebody can.
Are you using a microphone? It's difficult hearing you. Your voice is not very clear. It's very rough.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but it's rough. It's not the sound quality is poor.
I will change to another one.
It's much better now. At least your voice
Can you
is.
hear me now? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. So my question is, what did you learn so far from what we've done?
So I was following but at this preliminary part, I can't really know what you did to get to where you created.
Forget about what I did. What did you get from what we've done, or what's the goal of this? Because that's the answer to what you're trying to do.
I got the goal that we can create a file and somebody can edit it and then it will show up on the Git. So I think that is what I.
Why do you use Git? Why is Git important? Is Git important? And if yes, why?
Yeah, it's a tools for tracking, I think, version. And then we have GitHub, so where we also push things and where other people can edit it, if I'm right.
So do you think you need Git?
Yes.
So try it out. That's essentially what all these questions I'm asking you, I'm trying to get you to find out why you will need Git, for instance. I'm trying to get you to see why you will need Git. So I'm telling you, try to create a file and see if you can track the changes that you are making on that file. That's essentially what you're trying to do now. So you create a file there. It can be any type of file. It can be document file. Document file means it ends with .doc. It can be a text file, ends with .txt. So basically the file format is you will determine it. Content of the file, determine what the content will be. But the whole idea is that you create it and then start tracking the changes you are making to that file. That's the whole thing. So you saw me, I just decided to create a file that will hold the name of an attendance list, just so I can track the changes I'm making to that. So I said, on your own end now, create anything you want and track the changes you're making to that using Git.
So let me say food list. So dots.
When you name a file, there should be no space in the name.
Okay. So
It's like this man likes food.
so I think I'm able to create list now. So what will I now?
So what's the next thing you need to do now? So you see that this list you create now, if you remove anything, it doesn't know you removed anything. If you add,
Yes.
it doesn't know. That's what we are saying. You now want to add Git so that Git will now come on board and start helping you to track the changes. You understand it? That's the whole idea. So I said you want to open your terminal. So to open terminal, if you click the hamburger menu on your screen, it will you see terminal or something. Then create new terminal and then you initialize.
No time. Okay. I will now go to Git. That.
So what's the first command I said you run to bring it in?
Kind of. I don't know the first command, please.
That's why paying attention is very important in the class. So I posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to steal from the chat now.
So
Git init again.
Click on enter now. You just run, type it. How will it run if you don't click enter?
Oh, I made mistake on spelling. I'll just copy it.
Are you sure you have Git on this machine? Do Git -- version. Doesn't look like you have Git.
Git -- version.
Space -- version. You don't have Git on that machine. You need to install Git.
Excuse me, someone is calling me badly. It was
Nice. Yeah, somebody has posted, so Cheesy has posted his own. That's great. So, yeah. I can see the activities.
hello. Hello, I'm now.
Right. That's great. Congratulations. You can see Git is also telling you congratulations. Okay. So, and you also forked my own repo. That's very good. All right. So you need to install Git. So, but what you are doing is, are you still on call? Mr. Are you still on call? Or are you done?
Yes, I'm done, but I have to go. I have an emergency, please.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. Thank
I
you.
know, no problem. It's fine. Maybe tomorrow we'll continue from there. You need to run Git and install Git, and then we'll take it from there. All right. Who is doing food again?
Now, me, when I heard you talking about food, I'm just laughing because that was I did already.
No, but why are you doing this now? Are you not saying you're doing something different? Are you not seeing so many documents on your screen? And this is what I talked about. Are you not saying? That's why I said create a folder specifically for that and only open that folder. What you have done, are you saying, are you not seeing it? Are you not seeing that your left-hand side is bringing all your folders?
Okay, let me.
So what you want to do is create a folder to keep just that project and only initialize Git inside that one. Do you understand it? If not, you start tracking all those files in your machine. Except that's what you want to do, Sha.
No, I'm just now new folder. Open folder, right? Okay.
Get the idea first. Do you understand what I explained now?
Yes, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but to do it is what I don't know. Okay, folder. Then I don't know.
I mean, you were not listening to what I'm saying. You were just in a haste to respond. What I said, I'm going to go back again. Create a folder to handle what you want to do. So the first thing you want to start to do is to create a new folder. So create a folder first before you open the folder.
So where do I go to get the folder?
That new folder on your screen there now. You'll click open folder. Click on new folder there.
Oh, okay.
New folder.
New folder.
Click on that open folder. So it's not like there's a fast there's anyhow you do it, it's fine. You can decide to create the folder first and go through this way, or then click like this and create a new folder, then open the folder. Yeah. So when you select the folder, it opens. Are you not saying it's clean?
Yeah, so okay.
It's clean. Then you can now create your files inside here. So this is how you start a project. Do you understand?
Okay.
We are doing something very simple now, but you need to know that in tech world, this is going to be a bunch of codes, right?
Yeah.
You know that, it's going to be codes that will, I mean, some of them can contain different up to 20, 30 or more files. Do you get?
Yeah.
When people are creating food, it will make me
okay. Let me use that one.
No, it's fine. I'm joking. Wow. So always put a file extension. When you create a file, it has to have an extension.
What do you mean by extension?
Dot something. Every file has dot something. So
okay. Edit. Like dot. Anything I like?
what do you want to do? What kind of document are you creating?
Like a team list.
Is it an Excel you want to create? Is it a Word document? Is it text file? So that's what I'm asking. So if you listen to what we've done so far, and the last one we did now, he created a doc file. You understand? So you can use any option.
Okay.
So TXT is a text file. A doc is a Microsoft document. An Excel sheet is .ex. What's Excel listed now? Is it XL? What's Excel? So depending on every file has a format. You understand? So that's what determines how the computer would read it. Yeah, so this one you use now means it's a text file.
So if I want to use the command, I will go to Git. I think it says you go to terminal.
You need to save that first. You need to save that. You need to click on Control S or go to File and Save before you can commit that listing. Open your screen to full mode so that you can see all those things in a shorter way. That's this thing, it's not helpful.
Okay.
Save, not save as, please. Don't use, once you've created a file and then this thing, you use save.
Terminal.
It means you all don't have Git. Are you sure? Okay, no, do Git version, not Git that version. V is together with this thing. There's no space after the dash dash. It means there's no Git there. Can you run Git in your command line? Let's see. On command. Oh, you have Git. Why is it not showing?
Is it?
Okay, change. Okay, I know what's happening. Change here. Change this place. Click this drop down here.
Okay.
Click here. That's what I'm saying. Click the PowerShell. Okay. Click this. Click the plus sign. Okay, do git init first. Let's see. It will initialize. Why is Windows building like this? I'm not sure what the issue with this. But you have Git on your machine, eh?
Yeah, this is it. I just downloaded it now. You told me to download it.
You need to restart your machine now if you've just downloaded it now, because it does not sync with your entire system. So you need to restart your machine. That's why.
Okay.
You need to restart it. But from here now, you are good, sir.
I should.
Yeah. I like that. So just do the stuff and all of that. Any other person having issue?
Thank you.
All right,
Right
sir.
here.
Yes.
I'm having issue, please.
Yeah, sure. You can share your screen. Let's see what the issue is. Hello? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris, can I share my screen?
Somebody sharing.
Oh, okay.
What's the issue?
Why is this thing always taking me out when I... Oh my God.
So what's your issue now?
Yeah, when I try to push it, it brings this error. So it's not accepting this last command.
But are you saying your destiny is on track now? You've not added anything. Is on track. You've not added any message. You're not yet tracking your stuff.
Okay. Track. But I've run the command, I've initialized, I've committed,
Mm-hmm.
and
then how come you not? Because it's seeing a change here. So do git status. That will tell you where you are currently.
okay.
Always run git status to check what you're doing. You can see there, it's telling you don't have that. So it needs to be green before you can do a push.
It's okay. Let me try and fix it. I'll come back if I can't.
All right. So it shouldn't be an issue. All right. So any other person having?
Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Okay, now please add the person who is in the waiting room. We are not hearing you. You're just sharing your screen.
Sorry about that. So I was able to get to the point of adding the file and then committing, but then it came up with an error. I'm not sure what I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not able to like move forward from here. It's saying E349 no identifier on that cursor.
Abort. You have press controls, boy.
Oh.
Yeah, so you see here, if you look at your left-hand side, it's telling you always. Now, why I told you guys to always use git status is I know that's why I told you that's going to be your best friend. When you do that, you know what you are doing and what is going wrong. So anytime you get git command, you need to do that to be sure where you are, what is going on. So that's what you need to do here.
Okay. The challenge is it's not even letting me type
Do
anything on this page.
Control C clears off your terminal, and then you can start something new.
Okay.
Or you go and open a new terminal. It's that easy. No, just go and do a new terminal. This
New
one.
terminal. Okay.
Look at what you are typing now.
Oh my God.
Are you seeing what the issue is? So you need to do git add that file. So it has some changes. It has some stage changes. So you need to do git add on that file.
Yeah.
Close that git, this thing there. Delete that one. Yeah, and just do the up, press your up arrow. Try to enter a message on your left-hand side. Let's see. So click on the file on your left. The first icon on your left. So select that. Save that thing. Save it. Do that Control S or something to save.
Yeah, I did that.
All right. So then it has cleared up now. Then do that. Click on this thing now. Yeah. Click on source control. Then enter your message. If Git wants to mess you up, it can. It is one tool that can be very, very.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I do commit and push.
Have you clicked on it?
Yes.
Have you clicked on
Okay,
commit?
you mean to? No, I wanted to type it to the use.
No. Then why did you not type the message there if you want to use type? You either use that one or use command line. You can't combine the two.
Okay.
Close this one.
Which one?
Close this. Close this. You have an file. That's what is causing this problem. Close this thing, then close that pop-up, then open this place and close it. Yeah. Then click on it again. But why was this staged and then this is tracking? Doesn't make sense. This thing is index locked. Click on, cancel that thing. Click on these three dots. Come down to changes. Click on stage or changes. Have you clicked on it?
Yes.
Go back there. Click on stash. Click on drop all stashes. Click back there. Click on that show output. Let's see. Git crash. It has this thing, yeah. Index locked. So we run in this repository. I mean, that's the initialize is implicitly person. You're able to find my mind because it doesn't make sense. You know what? Close this thing and try to reopen it.
Okay.
Let's close the window actually. Close the entire this thing. Yeah. Then reopen. Let's see. Yeah. Any other
I should
question?
just yeah, let me give it another try so that you can attend to another person. If it's still giving me the same problem, then now.
Yeah. I think something happened. Maybe in the process of running that command.
Chris, can I share my screen? I'm lost.
How can you be lost now? That means none of us will be found if you are lost.
You want to understand. Can I share my screen?
You cannot
please, I want to ask a question.
You cannot be sharing your screen.
Please, now, I don't even know where to start.
You should be the one solving people's problem.
Can you see my screen?
Mm.
Okay, this is, I think I've created this list. Let me ship this. I've created this name list.
Where now? Where did you create it?
I've created the folder, then I brought up the folder.
Why are we not seeing the folder?
I don't know why this thing came, this thing came up. Okay.
We're not seeing the folder. Now you don't see it's telling you no folder is open. That's the first place to begin.
Okay.
Then click on it to open so that we can see what you have inside it. Why is the file not having a file format?
You said?
I've corrected some other persons on this thing earlier. Why is the file not having a file format? The file should have a format.
Okay, so where do I go to do the file format?
Rename the file now. Rename the file. Release dot something. The file, not the folder.
This one.
Use .txt.
Is it okay?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So you have a text file there. All right. So what do you want now?
Okay. See the names I've put in the text file.
I'm not interested in those details. The idea is for you to track what you're doing, right? So anything you put is fine. Okay.
Okay.
Just what do you want to do and where are you lost?
So it's showing you on track.
So if it's on track, what does it mean?
So I need to track it.
So how do you track it?
The next thing to do, git init.
How do you do git init when it's already showing you?
Eh?
Why are you doing git init when it's already telling you it's on track? So get the concept now. You miss the concept, Mr. Henry.
Honestly, I'm lost.
On a normal day, it will not tell you it's on track because it doesn't know about it until there's Git. So it's showing you, meaning that Git has been initialized. That's the idea of what we are doing. So it's only Git that can be able to tell you whether it's tracked or it's not tracked. So it means that you've initialized Git. So what are you looking for now? That's the whole question I'm asking you. And I've been hammering it all along. Always run Git status to find out what you are doing and what next you need to do. It's a very simple thing, but it looks like we are overlooking it. Always run Git status to find out what you are doing, what next you need to do, and all that. That's not how to run Git status. There's no hyphen. The only time you use hyphen is when you
There are no commits yet on track files.
Are you saying how it's telling you how to track it?
Use git add file to include it. Okay. It said nothing added.
You read what he's showing you now. This thing is not magic. Read what he's showing you. Read what you typed and read what he's telling you there.
No, you have git add henrylist.txt.
You read the error. It's telling you that the name you entered did not match any file. So you should see where the mistake is coming from. It's like you're hungry.
It's comma.
Huh?
You use comma instead of dot.
I use comma. Are you serious?
It's like you're hungry. These people have infected you people with food. That were typing food. Are you saying it has changed?
Okay, yeah, it has changed to A.
Always use git status. That's the thing I say. When any command you run, use git. There's no overuse command. Are you not saying everything? So are you not saying So the next
Then
thing
not-
you need to do is to do what is to commit and then push.
Okay.
All right.
Am I right?
Looks like. Yeah, you're right. Dash M, then put the message. Yeah, put it in double quotes. Double quotes, double quotes. That's not double quotes. Evidence that your this thing is not showing. No, it's telling us 404.
544.
Are you not saying you are Mr. Henry, you are doing Ojoro?
This is where I got stuck.
Why are you getting stuck now when it's telling you, please tell us who you are? It's already telling you to run those commands there. So how can you be stuck there?
All right.
Are you
Okay,
not
I should
saying,
run this git config.
you've not run it before,
Yes.
and so you see it's telling you we don't know who you are. And this is what so it's very easy. And this is why tech is beautiful, because you can't be lost. It's just, if you can read, understand things, why you're not this, the sign is like you're hungry. Why not copy it and run it? No, now put your own email, sir. Just use the up arrow. Don't copy it again. Just use the up arrow. Press up arrow.
Okay.
Just edit the email then and put your own email. Why didn't you put the double quotes, cover it back again? Don't copy, just click this. Why are you recopying it again? Just put double quotes to complete it. Click Ctrl+C to end that thing. Always use the up arrow to go back to history of what you've typed before. Press Ctrl+C. You're already in terminal now. Press up arrow. Yeah. Edit that thing. Yeah. Put it rightly. You are rushing. Just click enter. Just click enter. You can actually edit this one there. Just go and change user.name. Just delete everything to email, then put in .name.
Wow. All right. I've done that.
Excuse me.
Take care.
Is it?
It should be your username on Git. Is that your username on Git?
Okay, my username on Git. Okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
It accepts it. Then run the commit again, that Git commit.
I should put the I'm check.
Yes.
Then I should do
Successful.
Git push.
Go and get the remote command first.
Please, where do I get that one?
Have you created a repository online on GitHub?
No.
So you have to go and create a repository. So create a repository and then copy the commands from there. And that
Okay, I should go to GitHub.
Yes.
Mr. Henry, you are not in this class today. Why? What are you doing on your local machine? Do you understand what GitHub is? Why are you searching for GitHub on your local machine?
Go to your browser where you have your GitHub account. Yeah, login.
Is that what?
Select that GitHub. Let's build from here so you can log in. GitHub, let's build from here. Down. Yeah. Okay, I think this is your account.
Yes, I should create the repository. Do I need to put description?
It's your choice.
Huh?
It should be your choice. You can.
So what do I do here? Please, what next did I do?
Henry, what you are doing
Oga Chris, we are waiting for you.
what you are doing is very unfair. This is we are just like we are doing the same class again. It's unfair. Go back to, if you created the repository, go back to the repository and copy what you command this thing. This thing is very intuitive. You don't pass this thing where you do now. Scroll down and follow this thing. You're just trying to catch up, which doesn't this thing. So look at what he's saying. At least I'm even expecting you to, okay, I remember when you were here. Remember when you were here. Not like this thing. Is it that you didn't remember when we did this one at all? You have to copy them one after the other. Do the first one. This is what will now make this thing to register what you have done online on GitHub before you do the git push. I think what you need to do is just go and watch the video. So it would, because it's showing you missed everything. Have you copied it?
Yeah.
Just do Control Z. Do Control Z. Just do Control Z. Go back to the command line. Control V there. Let's learn how to use shortcuts. Yep. So this will push your code. Do
I need to sign in?
That question is very funny. If you don't sign in, how do you think you continue? You have to sign in now. So authorize it. So that command came up because I think that's the first time. Just select your password now. That's what you have there. So the first time you do it, it needs to authenticate. So go back to your machine. Your view is good. Okay, so I think it's done.
Oh, please, sorry for taking your time.
No, Wala. No, it's not my time now, but you know you are our leader now.
I know sometimes it's like that.
It's like they were distracting you. So go back and check if the code is there. You should see those names.
Okay, where do I go back? At my this account?
Of course, now you want to check if it's here. You're pushing it to GitHub. You have to go back and watch this thing before tomorrow. If not, me and you will get Wala. Refresh this page. Because this thing you're doing now.
So where is the list? I'm not seeing the list.
Open it now. Yeah, that means there's nothing inside it now. There's no list. You did not save.
Oh, I did not save. Oh God. Okay, you can continue. Later I'll watch it.
So just what you need to do now, save this one, do Control S, then do the same thing, then now do git add, git commit, then git push. That's that.
Oh, okay.
Or you use that this thing. You can use the left hand
This
side.
one.
It's the same thing. So it's give it a message and
Okay.
why I want you people to learn both is so that in case you go to a place where you don't have VS Code, you will not be stranded.
Okay, it's okay. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah. Then do sync. Then go back there and see. If you refresh, you should be able to see.
Yeah.
If you see that you have new committees, see added family. Why are you clicking your name? Is the commit you will click on, the name, the added family is what you will click. That's
Okay. Please, sorry about that. Thank you.
oh, Allah, no, sorry for what's now. No, it's not.
Let me stop.
So if you edit it, so this is the idea. You can keep record of it. Anybody you give this link now can see that what you created.
Okay.
That's the idea. Yep. That's the idea. All
Okay.
right. So tomorrow, what we are going to do, I'll show us how to now collaborate. Now all of us are creating it individually. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see how we can collaborate, work together on one particular code, and then we are all able to track the changes each of us are making. And then I'll show us how we work together as a team. So far, so good. I think almost everybody a number of us have, been able to go through. So tomorrow I'll give us some materials we can follow as well. All right.
All right. So, sir, I
Yes.
think I should be the last person today because I had to just wait till everybody's done.
There's
So
no.
I actually came late. I was the last person to join the class today. I think I joined around 8.
Okay.
So far I followed what I met, and I'll be able to create everything. So currently I'm at the last part after the push.
Okay.
Let me share my screen. Right, okay. 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 I'm currently here. I've run the code here. So now it's to locate the code on the browser. So I think I'm on the
refresh now. Why not refresh it?
Okay. So
go back
then
to your local machine now. You sure you pushed something?
yeah.
Mm. But there's nothing we are seeing there now.
Is it at this side?
What folder are you inside? What is inside here?
Yes, this. This is the folder, I mean.
Do Git
Coils
start
project.
now. Let's see now. But it's telling you now, please complete authentication in your browser. It's waiting for you to finish.
I mean, feels very took. So let me try.
It was asking you to authenticate. So
Not see. Okay, maybe I should stop. I should do the push again.
have you authenticated?
No, that's how I'm saying I should do the push again.
Right,
But I think I forgot my password. Then I reset it.
Okay, and so that's why. So you need to do that, and then you'll be fine. Because Git needs to know that you are who you say you are. If not, now anybody can just push to somebody's page. You get?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's,
When did my friend? Your boy, you disturbed my class.
so you should push now. This was where Mr. Henry was earlier.
So I can reload this now.
Close this one. Close this one, then go to your email.
Okay, I was using Chrome. Oh.
Right. So we're good then.
I can find it.
All right. So any other person?
Yes, please.
So actually, before I go, so this was actually what we just did today because I wasn't there throughout class.
Yes.
All right now. So let's continue tomorrow. I think we've solved most of us issues. Is there any other person having extra problem that we've not addressed?
Yeah, I've been authorized.
Okay.
And I got this one. I did push again after that, and I got this one.
So what else do you want now?
So your branch is up to date. You have.
So where will I go from here? I don't know.
Go home.
You have finished class for today.
Go. Finished,
How do I know that it's working now? I think people go to the place to see
your status. See your status that your branch is up to date with origin or main. You are on a roll.
Yeah. Okay.
My issue is that you don't sound like you understand what you're doing. And
I think there's a place to see it, to see the list again.
It's on GitHub now. That's
go
not,
to the GitHub website.
You are the one that should know what you want to do. So you go to GitHub, That's the public domain where it is. So you sign in and to check if it's there. That's the idea.
GitHub.com.
Look at it. It's the second tab on your screen that is open. Right?
The next.
Oh, sorry.
Click on code.
Just refresh that window and you see if you got it there.
Oh,
good job.
Good job.
You have not sorted me, but I won't bother you today. I know you are tired.
No, are you having issues? You are a prof now.
I did it, but I do what we call wuru to the answer.
All right, Mr. George, you're okay now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, don't worry.
Mr. George, you reach out to
or you come and help them sort out their own. Tomorrow we'll make it more, we'll take it, we'll go over everything again and then add some more flavors to it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So what's the issue? But your own is working. I sent me the URL.
Yeah, it's working. I'm fine for now.
All right. So tomorrow we'll get into how to collaborate with it.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Have a good evening.